Hello, it's Christine from the channel Christine and Celeste, and today I wanted to talk to you about the Klimt Tarot. I feel this is an overlooked tarot, and I really enjoy using it and wanted to share it a little bit with you. So it's a typical Lo Scarabeo deck. I think it's actually called the Golden Klimt Tarot because it's got gold all over it, and it's just an absolutely beautiful deck. The little white book is the typical Lo Scarabeo in 6 languages: English, Italian, Spanish, French, German and Portuguese. So there is a spread, a 13 card spread coming with this deck called the Circle of Faults and Virtues, and I do like this title because it's a very deep deck. You can do a lot of shadow work with it, but also regular readings, love readings, sex readings. Now there's a lot of nudity, so let me warn you, a lot of nudity in this deck. Also, if you haven't used your deck for a while, pause this video and go and get it out, and then we can have a look together and maybe rediscover this deck. So, in introduction it says, legendary Vienna at the beginning of the 20th century, the glittering imperial city and flourishing scene of art and culture, is the setting in which Gustav Klimt worked. With his work, the artist succeeded in perpetually reviving the atmosphere of that magical epoch, the basis of our contemporary culture. Theatre and operatic music were the arts that were most valued by the Austro-Hungarian court at the end of the 19th century, while painting and other figurative arts were not given their proper worth. That inevitably caused a certain amount of displeasure among painters. So in 1897, in protest, Klimt decided to leave the School of Arts and Crafts, the collective studio that he had been a member since 1891. Other painters joined him, and with them he created the splinter group known as the Vienna Secession, which intended to revitalize the capital's artistic climate by promoting and circulating Austrian art at home and abroad. What united all the secession artists was primarily downright rejection of the tradition, and in particular the moralism that characterized previous generations. Of all the painters that glorified the artistic period, Klimt is the one who most indelibly left his mark on our imagination, because he succeeded in perfectly expressing the spirit of the bourgeois and aristocratic world of his time, transforming it into a dreamlike universe of magnificence and decadence. The works of his later years are the ones that leave the most lasting impressions, like icons of a general cultural climate. Works steeped in mystery, like the huge mosaic-like paintings, the decorative portraits, landscapes, and gardens. So there's a lot more. And then it talks about A. Atanasov, who designed this tarot. And then the meanings. So there are a couple of issues with this deck, so let's look at them straight away. Well, it's got all the languages, but the way it's been set up, excuse me, is actually quite good. Doesn't bother me too much on this one. Now, there's some Lo Scarabeo I just can't work with, but this one is okay. The Fool. Now, it's not the young fool, that is going to take his step in the world and carefree, and not at all. I would put this fool as in some decks where it's number 22, as in more the end of the journey. He is a tortured fool, so maybe it doesn't work for you. I'm okay with it. I just use it the way it is. But what I love here is all the tapestry in the front of him. Um, there's still life in him, although, you know, he's lived a lot of his life, but there's still a lot. This is everything he knows, everything he can bring. He's been through it, and I do like this depiction, although, you know, it's very different from the original. The magician is a woman, and I'm going to say that a few times, but I love the fashion in this deck. When I lived abroad, I was highly into fashion. A lot less now. I'm in France, funny, isn't it? But I love the decoration, the swirls, the everything that's on this deck is wonderful. I mean, look at her hair. She's magical to me. There's the second issue with this deck is the High Priestess and the Empress. I think they've been switched. To me, this is the High Priestess and that's the Empress. So when I read it, I switch them. I don't know what else to do. I could maybe take the 3 off here and put 3 here, but I don't want to, you know, I don't want to mess them up. But this is a gorgeous High Priestess and a fantastic Empress with her books. So I don't know why. I think it's their mistake because really, she does look like the High Priestess. And look at that, she's holding this figure here. Just wonderful. They're both wonderful. They've just been switched in the print, I suppose, but they've never corrected it, it seems. The Emperor is a more typical Emperor, but he's not sitting down, and here he's got another figure in his hand. The Hierophant is a very cosmic one. He's above the words, as you can see. The Lovers, wonderful. Now, it's a very, as you people say, whitewashed deck. However, there's all shapes, forms, and also sexuality in it, which I really appreciate. It doesn't have it all, but it has a lot. I mean, look at this Chariot. Justice. So 8 is justice and 11 is strength. I do like how the past seems to have been erased with justice, and now it's in the present. She's taking all the past, put it in the present, and constructing the future with it. The Hermit is, you know, you can see a bit of the Fool in it again. He's looking at his present with everything he's done. And there's still life in him. There's still life in him. The Wheel, just, it's a very beautiful, and at the same time, it can be shocking for some of us. It's very non-traditional. I mean, strength, she's holding someone's head. Obviously, it could be your inner feminine side or masculine side. It can say a lot too. And she's between the two pillars, just like the High Priestess. Wonderful Hangman. Now, it's difficult to film a deck that has got so much gold in it. So I'm trying not to move it too much. But look at this. It's scary because it's not just a couple of people. It's the whole family Death is taken here and is ready to strike. And all the crosses, it's just It's a wonderful deck. I'm sure it's not everybody's taste because it's quite in your face. Temperance. Love the devil depiction too. The Tower. I just find it's an exquisite deck, but I mean the stars. It's not for everybody. The moon is lovely. It's womb-like moon. The sun. No child in this one. Judgment. Yes, a different card for Judgment. Here you don't see the angel at all. You know, the first time I saw it, I thought about these mass graves. No, it's not. You know, it's not a cheerful deck. Let's put it like that. It's always very deep. So a lot of people talk about shadow deck with shadow work. Wow, this is crazy shadow work deck. It's not for everybody. If you read for, you know, professionally, you have to be a little bit careful because it's got a lot of nudity, and honestly, seeing this card might disturb some people. And the word is a pregnant woman, which is lovely. So let's start with my most difficult suit in any Rider-Waite base, because this is more, I feel, Rider-Waite based. You can see it on some cards quite clearly, and on others it's a bit more obscure. So there's the ace. Now the Two of Swords, it's two men, so that's very interesting too. I'm not sure if it was already in Klimt work at the time. I seem to remember a lot of women in his art, but it might have been. I'm not a Klimt specialist. Oops, slidey. They're still slidey. The Three of Swords, now no heart, so I like that too. There's a lot of positive in his deck. The Four, where she's resting. Now the Five, right? So what I've done, I got out my Rider-Waite Smith, the Lo Scarabeo one, just to show about the depictions. So this is the Five of Swords in the Rider-Waite, and this is how it's portrayed here in a clip. And I was trying to think how to interpret it, and honestly, you know, it's not elegant, but it just made me think of, you know, you say, well, you know, kiss my ass. That's about it. That's my kiss my ass card, and I just find it fantastic. And she's lovely. Also, the Six. So here you see the whole family leaving trouble behind. She's on her own. She's naked. It's like she took her dress and used it for the mast material. Forgot the name, sorry. It will come back. So she thought about it, she's prepared it, and she just decided this time to leave on her own. The Seven. Now this one I could see less relationship in it. So I looked at the booklet. Well, let's look what it says. on the Seven of Swords, revealing a secret, discoveries, decisive ideas. So what's interesting here, it doesn't really take the negative side, like you see that's my pet hate with the Rider-Waite, is that most of the swords are negative, and it's not, because the mental area, the air, can be fantastic, because we need that to create and put ideas out in a word, and it's not just all nightmares and so I do like this card. It's a positive, and the negative one is subterfuge, conflicts, shady deals, reopening of a wound. So that would be more this one. Very much like this depiction. The Eight of Swords. She's boxed in her sword, you can see. And here it says it is imprisonment, feeling trapped. So it's the same type of meaning. With the Nine, same type of meaning too. And the 10, which is a beautiful card. I mean, look at that. Then we go to the court cards. So here we have Knaves, Knight. It looks like a toy, that Knight. The fashion is incredible. The Queen. Look at her shoes. Oh. And the King. Wands. The Ace of Wands. The 2. The 3, instead of holding a ball, she has a magnifier, which I like. She's really looking at her ideas, at her energy, seeing if it's a good way to go for her. The 4 of Wands. So that's the family, happy family. Oops. The 5. Now, that's another one I'd like to compare. Right. So she has 2 wands behind her and 3 in the front. So to me, if it's a struggle, right, she's still got a lot of fighting to do. However, if it's about a project, about energy, about creativity, she's only put the basis of it, and now she needs to work more on it. Let's see what the booklet says about the 5 of Wands. Preparation for a confrontation, sexual needs, wants, sorry, desire to learn. So there is also 2 positive out of it. I really don't see it as the struggle here, but it's a 5, so there is a struggle. It's like maybe you've just started this project and then you're stuck because you're not sure how to put the elements together, which I prefer, once again, this depiction. So the 6 is pretty straightforward. She's got the laurel here. But there's one more success here, so there's 2, 4, 5 here and 1 there. It's very important where the elements are. This is a bit more... Now I'm sure it's from a mythology or something, because it's in the stars, and I just don't know. But I'm sure it is. I need to look it up for the Seven of Wands. So you can see this one is a fighting one too. Decisive challenge, profitable alliances. You see, a moral strength. So there is a lot of positive too, and that's what I like in this deck. Although it looks more direct and, how can I say, harsh than the Rider-Waite, at the same time it's a lot more positive. It's weird. And it's about maybe also when you're looking inwards, killing your inner monster, and you've been fighting with it, and that's it, you're gonna stay on top of it. I really like that. Here, what does it say for the 8? I just really picked the ones that seemed a little bit different. Motion, activity, dynamism, blending of activities. Yeah. Once again, it's 3 women. Now the 9. I love her arm here. The way it's positioned is just absolutely fantastic. So the 9 of Wands. Just make sure I'm still in the Wands, yes. Defense of our own interests, growth, vigilance, protective instinct. And that's where the hand is, like the arm is like that. It's for protection. And it could be the 3 women, they look alike. So it could be, body, mind, spirit. So where does it go? Well, the body has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wands, right? The mind's got 4. And the spirit is protecting all that and making sure that no more struggle comes through. It's just a very interesting deck. And the 10. So obviously you feel the load here. It's a little bit of the same. But it's in the past now, this. So this person needs to rest. The Knave of Wands. The Knight. Even the horse is so beautiful. The Queen. Her wand seems to have a finger on top, a hand. And look at that in the background. There's Indian deities, or Chinese, sorry, it's Chinese deities. And she's actually got a Chinese outfit. So let's see if it says anything about it. The unfortunate thing about Lo Scarabeo is that we never know what the artist intended to do. No, it doesn't. But it's more Chinese. And the king was a woman. And I can relate to this. My mother was a king of wands at work. So, oh yeah, well, Egyptian. So as I said, it's even it's Egyptian, but it's white, isn't it? It could have been a little bit, for the color of the skin, it could have been a little bit better. But there is an attempt at multicultural, and in her pentacle, she's holding. It's like a picture of something. It's quite difficult to see because it's gold, but it does make a picture in it. So the 2 is the 2 choices, and here it's the 2 kids. The 3 of Pentacles, the learning skills. It's normally shown with architecture, but you can see here with the instrument, there is quite this notion too anyway. So she's learning her music. The 4, I don't know why she reminds me of Patti Smith on the 4 of Pentacles. Now the 5. It seems less harsh too, this 5 of Pentacles. Let's see. Hope, wealth, encounters with generous people, comfort within the family. Yeah. It's not the negative side on here. It's funny. The 6. So the sharing. The 7. No. I wanted to look at that because it's a little bit different. New business, trips, encounters with alluring people, elegance, class. It is different. It's not about there's still work to do. But I do like, for example, generosity, because you see there's the 6 pentacles here, but there's one there at the bottom. So this could trigger your intuition maybe. There's a lot to read on each card. You can really look at all the tapestries in the background and see if it means anything to you. Oops. The 8. So here it's the family orientation of the 8 of Pentacles, the mother body, future motherhood, completion of studies, new discoveries, trust in partner. See if someone asks you, is he cheating? Well, no, he's not. The 9, she's absolutely beautiful. And serene. I like the serenity of this card, but it looks pretty much, you know, the same. And the 10. Knave. The Knight. The Queen. And the King. So the chalices. For an Ace of Chalices, there's 2 people on it, which is quite unusual. So this could be maybe your relationship card, as well as the 2. But the 2 is more cuddly. Let's put it like this. I love that. The 3 of Cups, the celebration one. The 4. She's got a snake here. Look at her headdress. Another wonderful card. Now the 5 is quite something. We're talking about shadow work. So what does it say in a booklet? The 5 of Chalices. Protection, transparent relationship, letters. This doesn't say that to me. Protection, why not? Because this could be a spirit, the way to put, you know, you're protected by a spirit. Why not? But I do see that you take a good look at yourself in a mirror in this one, and have a chat with your shadow self. Where, you know, some people look all composed and nice and everything, and inside it's absolute terror. That really reminds me of this card. So the 6. I did like this one too. Had a look. The 7. Now, here the cups are empty, but she's talking to a dragon and the eyes are gold and black, which makes it, I don't know if you can see the gold on the video. I can't see what I'm filming actually, but she's talking to her inner dragon, so or a spirit or a guide maybe. Let's see what it says for the Seven of Chalices. Fantasy, imagination, dreams, artistic inspiration. See, I see another level to these, because she's really rooted in the earth, and then maybe it could be a kundalini starting to rise, and it's in the heart, or energy. She brought her energy in her heart, and because she wants to communicate. For me, the dragon is my totem animal, and also a representation of my shadow side. So I absolutely love this card. It really talks to me. Are we on the 8? Yes. That's the 8. Well, here it chooses to leave. I would say there she chooses to have a drink. But at the same time, they're both leaving, aren't they? Let's see the booklet. The 8 of Chalices. Ability to evaluate moral codes, decency. She's certainly thinking about them. So that's different. The 9 is pretty similar. And the 10 of Cups. So you see, this has aged so much. It's not that, of course, a man, a woman, and 2 kids, and, the house, and it's the little house on the prairie a little bit. Of course, it still happens nowadays, but this happens too, where, relationships are more unconventional, and yet, it's happiness. And I really like this card too. So the Knave, the Knight, the Queen, and the King. Now, I do use this deck with an oracle that I have lost, that I wanted to show you, but I seem to have misplaced. Oh, there it is. So I'm gonna, with the Shamanic Healing deck, this is the deck I use it with. So, for example, I like pairing the two. So let's have a look. Let me shuffle these. I'll just pick one in the middle just to... There it is. The King of Swords. And we're going to read the booklets to see what it says. And I pick this one. Oh. Well. Somebody's going to have a really nice Sunday. King of Swords. Let's see what it says about court cards. Legitimate authority, help from a relative, important acquaintances. Yes. And then with the card, sexual energy. From the Shamanic Healing. So it's card 25, and it says, In the purest sense, sexual energy is not an energy to be expanded from you. It is a state to reside in. The first and second chakras are the root of our sexual feelings. When you use this very potent energy to manipulate people and situations, you are doing yourself a huge disservice. When you expand your life force energy from your first two chakras and incorporate the energy from your heart and your crown, you can experience the most complete and divine experience of sexual energy possible. And that's really interesting because you incorporate the energy from your heart and your crown. And look, he's got a crown. And it doesn't look fierce at all. I think the heart must be in it too. This doesn't even have to include another person. When you can merge your connection to Creator with your connection to the earth, without any filters or blocks between the two, you will experience a complete and true connection. And look, that's what he's doing too with his sword here. So that takes on a completely new meaning. And that's why I like these two decks together, because they really complement each other. We act as the conduit between heaven and earth. And when we can put ourselves into this energy at any given time, we are not tempted to use our sexual energy in a way that fits our need for validation, nor are we easily manipulated by another's outputting of sexual energy. This card is asking you to look at where sexual energy is directed in your life. So that was really interesting. I hope you did rediscover this deck with me. I'm not trying to make you like it. That's not the point. It's just to show that there are different depictions of a traditional deck, because this looks quite traditional. And well, it is based on traditional, but it's taken in different forms, and I really like this. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and I see you very soon. Bye bye.